YouTube, good afternoon. Coming through this time with an EliGE demo. How you guys doing? Today going a bit late. Can't wait to get back on the schedule. Already 4 p.m. here in Toronto. Tomorrow the videos will come out every day at 2, Monday to Thursday, because I got to do them before I stream. God damn. You think you'd feel good after eating a whole box of Oreos and a thing of chocolate ice cream, but I feel like I got a food hangover from yesterday from how badly I ate. Really taking these weekends off. But tomorrow, back to the grind. Today, first of all, congratulations to Heroic. What an amazing showing from Heroic today. 3-0 versus Vitality in the grand finals. Sorry if I spoiled it for you. But if you, come on. Who's watching the VODs? Who's watching the VODs? You watched it live or you didn't watch it? Check out this execution. Okay, we've got to check out Heroic. I might go back to doing another demo review of a high overview of like a whole round, because look at this execution by Heroic. Swarm this site like Zerg, man. They were all over this T side. This was a 8-13 start in this T side, and they came back and won 16-13. Wonderful stuff. We'll probably have to take a look at Heroic tomorrow. But after yesterday, condolences to Team Liquid. EG beat them. EG showing us that they're like the most complete team right now in North America, and definitely one of the best teams in the world. Credit to Liquid. One of the only two maps they've lost recently were in these finals. Starting with this map here on Vertigo. Map 2, okay, is a 13-2 T-half by Liquid. And the story of the day is EliGE, okay? EliGE had, let's see, look at the Vertigo stats here. EliGE had an insane half on Vertigo. I'll go to the full match page so we can take a look here at his T-side stats specifically. And if I click on that and go ahead, look at his T-half here on Vertigo. 23-7, 150 ADR here on the T-side of Vertigo, blowing everybody out of the water. Across all 5 maps, he had an average of 1.4 rating. He was an MVP of the series, even though it was Evil Geniuses who won. They were the better team with more evenly distributed talent. But EliGE was an amazing Vertigo player today, and that is very common for EliGE. Actually, something some people don't realize is that EliGE, look at his all-time Vertigo stats. He is the only North American player in the top 10 for Vertigo. He always performs well on this map. One of his best maps, and the irony of it all is that he freaking hates this map. I don't know if that's changed by much, but check this out. I did a video with EliGE, a long interview. We talked about Vertigo when the new changes came in, and he kind of explained why this map was kind of annoying because it was so one-dimensional with the A-site hits, and how annoying it was to work for kills on the T-side. Let's take a listen. So he just talks about how hard it is just to get up the A ramp. That's what's going to make this video right now extremely interesting. It's just because we're going to look at how he approaches the A ramp with this in mind. And I guess just having that reverence for the effort that needs to go into the T side means that he's giving a lot of thought to it and has, because of that, outputted some pretty great T halves. So without further ado, let's get into the game before I get comments about how I'm faffing around on these intros. Thank you guys again for the comments on the last video, actually. Before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anybody that I want to shout out from the comments. Generally, just people being positive. Oh, Tarek gave me VIP on Tarek GG servers, guys. We did it. He watched the video. He watched the video I made in the middle of the third map of the finals when he was owning Liquid. He's DM'd me asking for the Steam ID. I didn't even show you guys on the screen. Tarek DM'd me in the middle of map 2 and 3 and asked me for my Steam ID to give me VIP on the server because of our video. He did it. Gave me VIP. Let's go. But yeah, anyways, enough of that. That was awesome. I don't have to wait in line. And yeah, I actually want to do heroic Tesses. You know, one thing I noticed about Tesses though is that he didn't have any extraordinary single halves by stats. He was such a two-sided player. Even in like his 30+ kill games, it was like 15 on each side, which I mean, that's pretty cool. But I'm not exactly sure what map to watch from Tesses, but we got to do something from this heroic grand final. Oh yeah, and EliGE. Sorry, this one's all over the place. Sorry guys. EliGE today will be on the 1680 by 1050 resolution. And I have talked to EliGE quite a bit, one-on-one, and he has preached using this resolution. He said, Launders, you got to get off native. That native is gross. You have to use crosshair draw outline 0.5, and you have to play on 1650 or 1680 by 1050 or 1650 by 1080, whatever it is, ASAP. I said, okay, I'll try it. I tried it, but what I see when I see this res is I see players who really want to use native, but then they want to say they're on stretched. Do you know what I mean? Like this is almost native. Like you can't. There's no way he wouldn't be able to do what he does on this res on native. He should be fine on native as well. But it is a slight bit stretched. Okay, it adds an extra 10 pounds to the T's as you go for the entries. So maybe that makes it a bit easier to focus on the frags. So let's see how EliGE does it. An amazing T half here in map 2 versus EG. And hopefully there is a lot of A ramp action. So one thing that's kind of interesting is that coming into this year, Team Liquid we're starting to try to do a lot of B stuff, like trying to use this site, see if they could work with it. But one of the biggest problems was these retake situations. They could get the bomb down, but they couldn't win in the post plant. And it looks like they're having a bit more success here with the help of Nafly and not as much EliGE. EliGE actually only comes through the team kill. But that seems to be the biggest problem of the B site, is that it's so open to the Molotovs that come in on the retake that if the CTs save utility and only play one in B, they don't lose a lot of players, and the retake's always usually pretty easy. So always usually 100% of the time, 70% of the time. So I remember there was one series specifically, I think at the Blast Global Finals with Team Liquid and Astralis, where they started off going to B a lot, and in that same game when they came in with the idea to try B more, Astralis were coming through and retaking every time. So then they decided to change it up and go back to A. And it seems like that just is the way you play the map right now. Interesting flash setup here. I think that's the flash that he was talking about in the video to blind yellow, so they could just establish up the ramp. Started this hashtag CS glossary on Twitter to talk about some terms that aren't defined as much in CSGO that we usually take some seconds to try to explain. One term I want to add to that is stealing bases. And the idea is that as a T, when you know a CT is not holding something, you can push up and post on a new angle that you couldn't if they were standing there. And so if you find the ability to juggle the CTs off of their positions, rotate back off sites, you can steal bases and progressively get closer to the site. And then when you post up in the angle, you suddenly are the CT. You have the advantage over them. And I think that's something that we'll see a lot of here on the A ramp, trying to steal bases, get closer up the A ramp, establish, wait for the boosts here, get up to the J hall, all before the execute actually occurs. So in that establishing anti-eco round, we saw that first volley of flashbangs really was the primary idea for trying to get a ramp control. Here it looks like they performed the pincer on mid, and Naf probably would have died without EliGE, who ends up getting 3 kills. So cool to see that approach worked so well up the ladder to combine with somebody outside of mid. And now on the full rifle round, he's the first out to A. Leg shot with the op, and then nade almost kills him. And I don't know if they would have continued off that if he didn't get shot by the op, but it looked like he skipped, some of the flashbangs because they were doing a running exec, trying to go ahead and beat timings. But Stewie grabs a really important frag. EliGE on 5 HP. I mean, he's almost useless in this round. So he's moved a bit to the back now. Grim ends up taking a spot of damage, but they've already got the first 2 kills, and Twist gets his frag as well. It's this strange game on A ramp where the CTs agree to fight you down here because they feel like it's their best chance of winning, and the Ts want to fight down here because if they feel like it's their best chance of winning. And it seems like it comes down to who really does have the stronger default and more confidence in that default. Sometimes when you are on low HP, you're going to move to the front when you go for an entry. But it seemed like here, instead of that, they microed everybody in such a way. They kind of microed everyone like Blinkst. I'm going to go with a StarCraft reference here because EliGE played StarCraft. They microed everyone like Blink Stalkers. Like anybody who was damaged, they put them in the back and fought on the ramp. They had Grim take damage after EliGE. Stewie went up in front of EliGE before that. Naflack came on afterwards, or Twist came on afterwards as well. And just try to maintain numbers. But sometimes, of course, you got a teammate or yourself is low HP. You're going to go ahead and try to offer yourself up to go in first. And there is just tons of lurking and baiting and you're almost like trying to perform some kind of reverse osmosis with the CTs. Attracting them to where you are, pulling back from where you were. And this is the most progress that EliGE has made in quite some time. They'll pull back after clearing that out. Interesting that they just leave it open now. And this is, of course, to spam people holding against the wall and also spam for the boost that can come up on the right and left side. There's one spotted, and EliGE knows the reload has to come in, so Ethan gets punished for that. And that would be a good example of stealing a base. And also just a sick entry. EliGE's aim looks absolutely phenomenal. Not even crouching into these sprays right now. Absolutely no desperation from EliGE. It's funny because the way that he plays as a player is almost like how he sits as a player as well. Kind of that militant posture in the chair. Perfectly spaced keyboard and mouse. Upright, and then when he comes into the server and he aims and he shoots, he's moving horizontally without dropping his crosshair at all, not crouching when he doesn't need to. He's very much in a suit, literally and figuratively, as a player and in the server. As a player in real life and in the server. So this time it's back to mid. Trusting a flash there. But Cirque's waiting for his specific peak. And he'll go ahead and get killed. Still 5-1 so far in the half. We've seen the impact already. Less than half the kills that we're going to see in the rest of this half from EliGE. So there's that, I think, pistol round flashbang for yellow. Piece of the protocol to assist his teammates in getting up the ramp right away. And this Molotov to Henny. We're going to call that spot Henny because it's his favorite spot to opt from. And he's had some of the most amazing rounds from there. There's a lot of jostling, jumping back and forth, getting information, falling out of it. See, the flash tactics from the CT side just to take a quick peek. But there's no real, it's like the desert out here. There's no cover for the CTs to stand in. You've only got like these moments where you can come in and try to get a frag. Wow. From our perspective, it just seemed like EliGE got up here, no one saw him, and CTs weren't even close. But Evil Geniuses had no idea someone could have made it all the way to sandbags. And we can see he's the warden in the watchtower from sandbags in that spot. At the corner of the site, he has deep angles behind the site, and he can protect and cover the bomb from going down as well. He can cover up top right here, and he can cover everything behind the site to make sure his player on default cannot get killed. And now they're certainly going to be concerned about sandbags, but EliGE has already moved off to the side. And now it's just about keeping the bomb in vision, so you're able to spam the smoke when you need to. I really do like coming up close here, and as Bardoff would say, that StarCraft aim coming into play. You can't just play back at you can't play back deep ramp anymore because the bomb gets stuck, and then you have to have a point of reference to be able to spam down the guy who's defusing the bomb. So sometimes it's better to try to stay really close and be able to instantly spam when you hear the defuse going off. Just get the kill on the planter, because it feels like that is the meta of the A site at the moment. So sorry, he hasn't been throwing that pistol round flashbang. He's just been throwing an offhand one to deny anybody from pushing, presumably Cirque from peeking down A ramp. And just the number of trades. Everybody gets destroyed. So this is 2 times that Evil Geniuses have tried to come into this default, and Liquid and, specifically EliGE, I guess, has really done a lot to stop them. So I guess on that previous round, EliGE got dinked down by 90, and then Stewie and Twist got trades after that. But either way, it's not been too fun for Evil Geniuses, and that's probably a big reason why this half has gone so badly for them. Liquid show up to the alley with the baseball bats over their shoulders, ready to brawl. But Evil Geniuses, they give up the alleyway. And when they do show up to the alleyway, they bring they've got nothing. They don't have baseball bats. They have foam bats. They come with foam bats, and they get sent packing. It's pretty uncomfortable, I have to say. It's not super fun to be a CT in that position, but it's, of course, just a battle you must wage if you want to do well on this map, at least sometimes. Because if you give up all of this control, and I think the T's will be happy to just continue on with an A exec every single round. Now, there are other alternatives, of course. You can get this boost going behind the wall on the A ramp. You can come out for re-aggressions. You could heavily op it and play a bit more passively. But we haven't seen many of those options from Evil Geniuses. So EliGE, this is his bread and butter so far. Get up to the sandbags to protect the plant. Encourage the CTs to come forward as the bomb goes down, and then totally maul them from safety. We're learning a lot here about what makes Liquid tick and how EliGE plays a part in that. They're dictating the pace of each round. They're not playing reactively to what Evil Geniuses want to do. But once they get to the A ramp, they kind of see what's going on. And then they go from there. Another kind of lurk frag kill. These ones are hard to quantify. In terms of what elicits EliGE from peeking the left side of the smoke in that specific timing. Is it just feeling that he's going off of? And how does he keep getting, this first, then second, then third kill up the A ramp? That is magical. That is truly magical. Also, of course, when teams have setups that are aggressive CT setups where there's not a lot of cover to rely on, but there's like 3 people, as there always has been on these rifle rounds. If you kill the second guy, sometimes the third guy, he doesn't have a piece of cover. Instead, he has a teammate to cover a choke point for him. So EliGE went from that second kill directly into the third frag, kind of wasted no time, because just as I'm saying, sometimes you're not relying on a piece of cover to protect you, but instead a teammate, because there's nowhere to hide on the A ramp, and so you really need your teammates to stay alive. So Ethan dying kind of gets Stanislaw in a much worse position. Okay. Really good spam damage from the CTs, and oh my god. Okay, well, weaponizing the EliGE in that situation made tons of sense because he was so low. He grabs at least one frag, but EG seemed to be doing a bit better here on the A ramp. Let's just assume that, okay, Liquid somehow won the round. I'm not even going to go back and see how. We'll focus on what EliGE does. Just to keep it going. Every time I look at the recording timer, it's always like 20 plus minutes in what feels like 5 minutes. Man. I can see why from like an analyst perspective or a player perspective, you'd be like, what is this map really? What is this? You're sitting behind a gray wall of smoke for 45 seconds in a round, trying to get free damage where you can find it, get lurk frags on players walking around, not really looking for points of reference on cover. It seems like a nightmare, honestly, to play. But EliGE is already farming up to 20 frags. His flash seems to be a constant, and that smoke actually put him in a pretty great spot to jump up quickly. He's falling down now, vetoing turning the corner, and just, coming back with his teammates. So the Molotov and the spam to just try to catch someone falling back. And they don't actually want to use yellow. They just want to get the CTs off of it, make sure they're not going to play it. Instead, just focus on the A ramp with the wall smokes on the site, and that seems to work just fine. Another clean kill from EliGE. One of those apps where you look at the kills, you're like, how did he do that again? How am I going to do that in my next matchmaking game? It's a weird one. Like, for me, like when we played Cobble, I really disliked playing Cobble in matches, but I enjoyed playing Cobble in pugs. And I don't know if that's the same for players right now playing vertigo, but I like playing the map vertigo, just scrimming up A ramp and seeing if I get entries. But playing this in a match setting seems like a nightmare. That's a nade kill. He's out. This time around, attention on B. EliGE acting as an entry, really. Never actually rushing, however. Trying to figure out who to boost. And I think they're pretending like it's still a lot of pressure on A when actually it's all about EliGE going in first. Flash here to push him, help him go forward. Molotov and spam to assist in the plant. And that should be enough to get the bomb down and go into the post plant, which has nothing to do with the B side itself. They're all falling back into the ramp area. Toast is here by generator. Let's see what the flash looks like. Right, left. Wow, and the second one. So in case anybody turned, they've combined that perfectly. A nice tactic and an in-between timing to get a final frag, and all the spam coming through the smoke, even on the B site. Oh my god. Vertigo, what a mess. But the king of the dumpster, EliGE, 22-7. 5 ping, he lives in the server. Man, that's madness. I mean, for me, what I learned from that is, like, I learned to flash. I learned some of the specific angles you want to hold. Maybe some of the patience on the timings and, like, when to go. And also this, like, coordinating with getting sandbag control and seeing how EliGE has been so good at actually helping the bomb to go down safely. He played a big part in the half without actually getting kills sometimes. But some of the entry pathing was kind of interesting, and seeing how EliGE was really, you know, almost a hard entry, but it never really felt like it. I think if you're looking from EG's perspective, he never actually was the player to get to default on the A side. You only get to, like, sandbags. So he really just opened up both parts of the map. And yeah, I mean, you can't reduce EliGE to just a couple of things. He's an extremely complete player. Here we're looking at vertigo, right? Look at this stat, okay? Besides Nico, EliGE is the #1 rated rifler of the last 12 months, I want to say here. We go look at best players behind Nico. And I think and that's only recently that this changed. EliGE was the #1 rated rifler in the last 12 months. So, yeah, Grim, he's the hot new prospect. He's got the crispy Xantaurus aim, but EliGE, he's been doing this shit for years. He is the best player in North America, and, you know, even though they lost in the final, his impact was heard. His impact was heard. An unbelievable tournament from him overall. Look at this best of 5. I mean, it's just crazy to do this. A 1.4 average over 5 maps over 7 hours. Like, just that alone is amazing. So, yeah, I'd like the nutrition game plan from EliGE as well, because I don't know how you can be this consistent. This is something else. If everyone did this on the team, of course they'd win, but that's just not how Counter-Strike goes. So, yeah, hope you like that. Kept this one under 30 minutes. And we're looking for some more ideas for players to throw in. We've got lots of demos to go through from Cologne, and there's going to be some off time where we can take a look at other players. I really want to look at Shiro. Super excited to take a look at his demos, maybe Axile as well, and get some perspective on some of these new and up-and-coming players. So thanks so much again for watching. Follow me on Twitter. You can reach me here faster than my mom can reach me by texting. And yeah, if you have any feedback, concerns, comments, questions, or praise, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Thank you guys so much for the comments. They're keeping me alive. I love them. Hope you guys enjoyed Cologne, and we'll take another look at Cologne matches this week. All right, take care.